Hi everyone, welcome to the Harmony Foundation podcast series. I'm pleased today to be joined with John Stenzel, CEO of A Healing Place, the Estates in, remind me what place in California you guys are located?
Ventura County, just south of Santa Barbara.
Wonderful to have you here.
Thank you.
Really glad that you came up to visit with us today at Harmony. We want to hear more about what you do and what A Healing Place is about, but before we do that, we want to hear a little bit more about your background and what got you into the field of addiction treatment.
Great, thank you. So I've been in healthcare nearly 40 years. I spent 11 years in physical and occupational rehab side and working with paraplegics, quadriplegics, etc. And after doing that for 11 years, it got me interested in this field of psychiatry and then addiction medicine and then behavioral health.
And you ran a couple of programs, I think, right?
I had several programs. I had an adolescent residential program. I had a sober living business program. I had an international psychiatric services company and had a very large behavioral group practice in LA. And now I've transitioned into A Healing Place, the Estates.
Which is a very great way for us to segue into hearing more about this unique program that you've created with a couple of wonderful people. It really is a program that, based on my conversations with you all, is transforming sort of the epidemic of chronic pain in our country. I mean, it's one of those things that's on the forefront of everyone's mind in the field of addiction treatment, but really not really familiar with how to treat it. And it sounds like you all are really working on creating a unique model to do that.
Well, we are. I've partnered up with two industry professionals. Dr. Joe Cabre is our Chief Medical Officer and co-founder. He's triple boarded, anesthesiology, pain, and addiction. And our other partner, Chief Clinical Officer, Dr. Stephen Grinstead, and he's worked in the field for about 35 years. And he created the addiction-free pain management, evidence-based treatment system, and that has become the foundation for our program.
Wonderful. And so can you talk with me for a few minutes about what a client would experience if they were coming into your program who has had a long-standing experience of chronic pain? What would they expect coming into the Healing Place?
Well, because of the specialty program that we've developed, it's a triple diagnosis program, so everyone has to have chronic pain that comes into the program, and 95% of everybody that is suffering from chronic pain will have psychological disorders and or addictive disorders, much because of the opiate epidemic, etc. So the program is unique in that we are a closed program. We don't allow any more than 6 patients at a time. It's a closed cohort, and every level of care is for 6 weeks. So the patients that are coming in, they've been suffering from chronic pain for years, if not decades. So they need to be medically stabilized, detoxed, psychiatrically stabilized, and motivated to want to work a program. So it's quite unique. We start a program every 6 weeks. All levels of care are 6 weeks in duration. And we're dealing with very, very complex issues, physical, sometimes failed operations, injuries, workers' comp patients, those kinds of things. So they're very complex, and we offer medical services, psychiatric services, psychological services, and obviously addictive services.
It's a really special program and much needed, I think, and hopefully we'll be able to see more of it being replicated in other parts of the country. You mentioned that you've been in the field for a little while, and so as we look at where healthcare is going and what's going on with the field of addiction treatment, what are you personally seeing as a forecast for the future around addiction?
Well, I think what's going to happen, I think there's going to be a resurgence of integrated care, not just addiction as a standalone. We all have seen the history of going from dual diagnosis to coexisting disorders, and most patients now are very complex. They have coexisting disorders, the chronic pain, medical issues, and there's other diseases that we're dealing with at the same time, concurrent with treating these. I think one of the things that we're going to be seeing is a major paradigm shift tied to outcomes, and that treatment programs need to be performance-based. You have to really look at your program. Is it effective? And stop the major relapses, which has been notorious in this field for the last 20 to 30 years.
Yeah, I think you're dead on. I think there's more and more of that needs to happen as far as a stronger sense of accountability of the services that are being provided, because people want to see effectiveness. We just can't throw a dart and hope that it's going to be okay. So Well, so your first time, no, not first time visit. You've been here before, but years ago, right?
Years ago.
Okay.
Yes, many
And
years ago.
so tell me about how you feel about Harmony.
Well, I'm super impressed. I feel bad that I haven't been here sooner again, but I see such amazing changes, the integration of mental health services, and just the expansion of the programs and services, the expertise, the client services, the clinical team, medical, etc. It's just really amazing.
Thank you. And we're thrilled to be able to build a partnership with a healing place. And so if someone who is listening to this podcast today wanted to access services at your program, how could they get in touch with you?
Well, they can either call. We have a toll-free number, and that number is 844-388-4100. That's, again, toll-free. Or they can access our website, which is ahealingplacetheestates.com. And we have plenty of information, and you can call me directly. My cell phone number is area code 818-618-0404, or contact anybody at the office and ask for the admissions department or talk to any of the clinical people.
Sounds great. Thank you, John, for your time with us today.
Thank you very much for having me.